Hey everybody, Ben here from Snipit Studios, and a couple of years back I made a video where I talked about using a spray bottle and hair dryer as kind of terrible ideas for painting in acrylics. But since making that video, I actually changed my mind about one of them. Stick around. So how did I go from saying using a spray bottle for your acrylic paints is a mistake to doing a complete 180 and actually using it fairly often in my work? First, let's talk about why I didn't recommend it and why I thought it was a terrible idea. Mostly because a lot of people that use the spray bottle overuse the spray bottle. They use it constantly, they're always spraying their palette like every 5-10 minutes. That's going to really dilute your paint way more than you probably want to, and probably create some sort of undesired looks in your paintings. Additionally, if you're spraying your canvas, but if you're doing it sort of at the wrong time, say you're painting a sky and you spray, you might get a lot of little drips, and then if you kind of come back across that with a brush, all you're going to have is all these little areas where the paint got diluted, and as soon as you pull that, it's going to lift the paint off. So you'll have a clear blue sky with all these little drip sections on it that where some of that paint got wiped away. So it's like, ah, crap. And the final reason why I didn't recommend it is because I didn't need it at the time. I was in a different studio where it was moist enough in the air that my palette could stay wet longer than it would for somebody in a different environment. So as I mentioned, new studio, new environment, new needs. And I found that my paint in this studio versus the old one tends to dry on my palette a little bit faster, so I will occasionally do a nice little spritz. Now it's important to note that when you're spraying, don't get real close to it. When you get real close and spray, or even just kind of half spray, you get little drips and bigger drips. When I spray my palette, I hold way back, like the palette's here. This is way up here, and I give it just the tiniest little spritz. Tiny, tiny droplets of water hitting that surface, rather than trying to get the whole thing coated and really wet. Occasionally I will use the spray bottle as well for some special effects where I really want to spray and get the water on the canvas, specifically if I'm working vertically. That way I kind of get this sort of cool drippy effect. I actually did this a bunch when I was doing the mural and painting the water, really just trying to get that color to run and get a lot of interesting complexity in the both the color and the shapes sort of in the water itself. And also, like the mural, it's really useful for just large-scale painting when you really do need a little bit of a mist, a little bit of a spray, a little bit of just extra water on your canvas. Sometimes it's good to actually pre-wet the canvas before you start applying paint to it. So that's just sort of a quick look on how I kind of changed my mind about using a spray bottle. Again, there's definitely people that overuse it, and I definitely would recommend getting away from it if you're somebody who definitely just is constantly reaching for it. It's a tool. But for me, it was the tool that I least wanted to use. It's not the one I wanted to go for. But when I finally did go for it, it was like, okay, this is actually the tool I needed the most. So what about you guys? Do you use a spray bottle in your work? If you do, if you don't, whatever your situation, let me know in comments below and talk about your working process. Maybe we can share some tips back and forth. As always, if you enjoyed this, learned something, or just want to share it with your friends, go ahead and hit that like button. Consider supporting on Patreon. Get subscribed if you're not already. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff, as well as links for all that in my website in the description box below. And this has been Snipit Studios, and I'll see you guys next time. I really fudged that ending, didn't I? Jeez.